I'm just letting you know. Okay, appreciate it. Just does okay. I appreciate that. Sorry. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. نشهد يا رسول الله أنك قد أديت الأمانة وبلغت الرسالة ونصحت الأمة وكشف الله بك الغمة وجاهدت في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاك اليقين، فجزاك الله عنا خير ما جزى نبيا عن أمته ورسولا عن رسالته. أما بعد، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, last time the spoor slave of Allah was here before you, we talked about some of the secrets between husbands and wives. Continuing, no matter where I go in the world and what race meet, even what creed they believe in, doesn't matter. Women and men are same everywhere. It's just different cultures, but the same number goes. And according to the ihsaiyat, the statistics, and even the research, it is pretty much similar around the world now. So we'll talk about secrets, but we got to put a spin on it when it comes to Islamic virtues and according to who we truly are and what we mean to one another in this life and the hereafter. So it becomes more motivational, not just in information. There is a bait that you have to follow, and what's in it for me with him. So understanding that the first time we talked about the secrets, we talked about the computer theory. Understanding that everybody has a different language. There are so many different languages in the world that you know of. But do you have a common language with your spouse? And that's the key you're looking after. Hence, we talked about men from Mars, women from Venus, according to the book. And we told you what exactly meant, what the computer theory was all about. We also talked about the origin of creation, what it means to the men that were created from dust. Hence, Adam alayhi salam longs to go to its origin, which means he wants to go back to work. Symbol of work, which is the dust. And Eve was created from Adam, so she wants to go back to its origin, which what? Adam. Hence, we had the issues of how do you express your feelings, and we talked about your language and her language. Your language is you express your love to her when it comes to financial issues. Her has a totally different language. And number two, we talked about men are physically based and women are emotionally based. We talked about the North Pole and the South Pole and the S theory, all of that stuff. And we almost came through to that third one, which we'll talk about a little bit because we spoke about it briefly in the last khutbah. And then we continue on with some of the secrets, inshallah. We said you have to have a common hobby between your spouse. Usually, when I ask the sisters about the husband's hobbies, almost always the sister know your hobby. But when I ask the brothers about their wives' hobbies, almost always they give me that deer in the headlight. They blank. So my job today is to make sure that you go home if you're married and ask your wife directly and don't take it for granted. What's your hobby, honey? If you don't know it, she'll tell you. And your job is to make sure you learn about her hobby and share it with her. Whether it's shopping, whether it's shopping, whether it's shopping. You pick one of the three. So you understand now you have to be a best friend that's a lover. And that's the best combination. Knowing that Khadija radiallahu anha was untouchable when it came to the wives of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we mentioned that even Aisha radiallahu anha and Ummahat al-Mu'minin ajma'in, she was jealous of Khadija after she passed on. When the hadith is sahih, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ruziqtu hubbaha," I was blessed by her love. And I will talk about that and the duties and rights later on in the series, inshallah. But to understand why is important for us, because she wasn't just a wife, my dear sister. She was more than a wife. She gave when everybody else deprived. She believed where everybody else disbelieved, and so on and so forth. Hence, we have a combination that will be unforgettable. So you always have to ask yourself, if I die, will I leave a legacy behind? Will my spouse actually be saddened for my departure, or will they be actually happy for my departure? Are they make dua for me, or are they making dua against me? And that's reality check, my brothers and sisters. And I understand that some of us are still together because we have kids now. It's just, you know what, let me get over this thing called life. And you know what, God forbid, when I tell the sisters, Ukhti, you're going to be really, like this guy's going to look really good in Jannah. She says, no, Sheikh, I paid my dues. I don't want to be with him in Jannah. How bad do you have to be, dude, in order for your wife doesn't want to even see you in Jannah? Even I told her, you're going to be look like Yusuf alayhi salam and all that stuff and all these things that doesn't matter. But that's exactly what we do. You understand? So now keeping coming, the reality is that you have to have a common hobby in order for you to sustain this journey called life. And the boat theory is all about that you're in the same boat, which is life. The ocean, high waves and high winds. So your boat is marriage is a safety boat. And by the way, there's no smooth sailing here. Don't expect that. So you have to have Quran and Sunnah, as we mentioned, as your oars to guide you. Otherwise, you'll be lost in the sea. And the ocean is indeed a depth so tight in the sail and increase the zad, which is sustenance, according to the Quran, and your GPS has to have Jannah. So enjoy the journey, but remember, keep the eyes on your prize, which is Jannah. So remember, she is your partner, and he is your partner. So co-captains work together. We don't knock each other down. Otherwise, we would lose a team member. And if you lose a team member, you've just lost 50% of who you truly are. So keeping that in mind, now go into the other secret, which is women look at specifics. Men look at a bigger picture. For example, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to ask your wife, do we have food? What do you get? You usually get a list of things, specifics. Yes, honey, we have 3 chicken, 4 fish, 3 rabbits, 5 lamb, and all of that stuff. You usually are not interested in the specifics because you simply want to know whether you're going to live or die. Do I going to eat or do I have to go outside to get something? So knowing that secret is extremely important for you to understand her language. You cannot speak to your wife in a man's language. And my dear sister, you cannot speak to your husband in a woman's language. Totally different. So when you speak to your wife, knowing that she looks at the details, you have to speak to her in details. For example, if she cooks a nice meal for you, please note that you have to also mention that that garnish is beautiful. The way she cooked it is beautiful. How crispy on the outside, yet tender on the outside. And the beautiful juice combination complements the juice that you have with the beautiful gravy that comes down that reminds me of the river of the Nile. And all of that stuff. Emily Post would be so proud of you. How you put the forks on the outside, yet the knife on the inside. And the beautiful swan that she has as a handkerchief and all of that stuff. You get to eat again. Now, you take it for granted, you won't have the same attention again and they will give up on you. And if she looks beautiful for you, you also have to make sure that you speak about it. Be still, my beating heart. Even this flower is fade beside your beauty. You are more beautiful than the first day I've seen you before. And you go into the details. Your eyelashes, even though they're false, but they're so beautiful. And the eye lens that you have, I know that you have brown eyes, but now they're green. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. It's a miracle by the blessing of Allah. Because that's what the Sheikh Qattan, Hafidullah, he says, you know what? What are you looking for, dude? He says, أريدها بيضاء طويلة. He says, أريدها بيضاء طويلة لها لون متجدد وشعر غير متجعد. كانت غنية ثم افتقرت. لها لون بالليل ولون بالنهار. تعطف على الصغار وتكرم الجار وتوقر الكبار. قال والله لو وجدنا هذه المرأة لبايعناها على الخلافة. What are you looking for, dude? I want everything, yeah? Everything. Fully loaded, Sheikh. The top of the line of everything. But, dude, are you the top of the line of everything? So let's get real. So he says, I want her to be tall and beautiful. I want her to have silky hair, not crooked. Have a different color every day. A color during the day, a color during the night. She was rich and then she was poor. She has the nobility of the rich wealth, and she also has the humbleness of being poor. She's kind to the young, good to the neighbors, and respects the elder. And he says everything else that the brothers want is, wallahi, if you find this woman, we will give her the pledge of allegiance to lead this ummah, to become Amir al-Mu'mineen. But that's what I'm talking about. You see, expectations are extremely important. So speaking each other's language is one of the keys for successful marriage, because expectations are your worst enemies. Because if you have such a high expectation of everything, and I tell the brothers, number one mistake the brothers make as soon as they marry a sister muhajjaba, khalas, I married an angel. She can do no wrong. That's the first mistake the brothers do. Because your expectations are too high. You forget that she's a human being, and you forget that she's a woman. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Gharat ummukum," talked about the nature of woman. She was jealous, nature of woman. Yes? Now, secrets again, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Hadithat al-Ifk happened, the big lie of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, alayhi min Allah ma yastahiq, when he started this false accusation of Aisha radiallahu anha, barra'aha Allah min sabq khizamaat, Surah An-Nur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is innocent. But she was not able to actually remember. She said, Wallahi la aqulu illa ma qala al-abdu salih. She forgot the name of a prophet. Understand? When women are raised in a different environment that you brothers are raised, you see your children, you have and I don't really care about the pronouns he, she, and all of that stuff that you go through. I don't care. I'm just going to talk about women and men. Because if you're going to go to the definition of woman, you're going to get lost. There's a whole documentary about asking women what is the definition of woman. They don't even know about that. So I'm not going to go there, and I don't really care if I get arrested or don't see me again anymore. Doesn't matter. Wallahi. خلاص يعني. Okay, the brothers, I'm turning you off or you cut me off. يعني خلاص شيخ يعني. Okay, I'm going to ask you to move forward. Please move forward because the brothers are coming in, inshallah. Move forward as much as you can, as if you're lining up for prayer, inshallah. Now, understanding that, brothers and sisters, you have to understand, you have to decipher the hieroglyphics in front of you. And that's exactly what you're doing. Your job is to make sure you understand that this is a different human being in front of you. The build is different. Chromosomes are different. The X and Y's are different. Everything is different. Hence, we have something called the brain, the different sides of the brains. And even it's been talked about, and the research shows that men use the left side of the brain, women use the right side of the brain. So the right side of the brain has different characteristics. The left side of the brain has also different characteristics. You were built for a reason, and she was built for a reason. So we don't have to compete against one another. The shoulders do not complain about why is the head above me, because the head has a role and the shoulders has a role. So as soon as you get into this feminist mentality, she's going to tell you, well, you know what? What's in it for me and why am I not doing this? You go complain to America, please, my dear sister. Tell her, why are you not paying women the same as men? You go ahead. You have a fight with them first. Because up till now, as I'm speaking to you, women do not make the same money in the States as men. So don't go there because you're going to lose this battle. Let's talk about Islam. Let's talk about the one that created you, because he says, أَلَا لَهُ الْخَلْقُ وَالْأَمْرُ. Isn't the one that created you is Allah? Of course. He says, وَالْأَمْرُ. The one that created you is giving you what's best for you. Because wallahi, now they're saying you've gone too far. Even feminist movement are actually saying we've gone too far. We've shot ourselves in the foot. And if you go back in history, you'll find out that they've actually started this to do what? Some economical means. Some families that they own this thing called world financially, they said, you know what? We need some more people working, man. Give women those equal rights. Give them, they have to work. And then now they're working, they're doing everything else that they have to go inside, they're now complaining. Yes? Now, understanding that, my dear sister, you will never find a way of life better than Islam that raised you 3 times higher than men. I've studied this 5 years of my lives. You will look at any way of life. They will never respect women more than us. Never. And I can debate anybody on this. It's not worth it really, but they can just go ahead and find out that women, certain ways, that they find out that, you know what, were they a human being in certain ways of life? Believe it or not, are they a human being? Do they have a soul? Yeah? Can they be with us in a certain time of the month? And so many things. Women have fought for the past 100 years, fought hard to get the rights that Islam already gave them over 1400 years ago. There are 14 rights Islam gave women more than anyone else. Over 1400 years ago, and you didn't even have to fight, my dear sister, for it in order for you to get a vote to find you or doing this and doing that. Alhamdulillah. Now that the sisters will kind of hate me for life, that's okay. By all means, I'm ready for it, inshallah. But alhamdulillah, this masjid, I'm so happy, man. I don't, mashallah, yani. You're in the hood, alhamdulillah. But my wife can listen to I'm in trouble already. So Allah musta'an, inshallah. Make dua for this person. If I don't see you again, you know now. Make janazah tomorrow, alhamdulillah. Now understand that the specifics, my brother, is extremely important. So we said before, now, you know, when you're getting ready to travel, to be honest, I've done the khutbah in so many different masajids, so I apologize if I repeated certain things. Now, if you get married and you get on a vacation, you know, it's very easy for you to get packing. Very, very simple. We're very practical. The sisters open up all the luggages, all the things, and it's a choreography. Then you get concerned because you ask your wife, honey, are you packing or are you leaving me? Because you don't know what is exactly happening. So this is the specifics that she wants to match everything. Go on this occasion, get to that occasion. You just want to cover your aura and move on, man. And these are extremely important things for you to understand why they're doing things for the brothers and sisters. After just the salaha, I'll take you to another secret, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mend your hearts, protect your homes, and make you a home sweet home and best friends for life. In this life and hereafter. And that's why we call it happily ever after. And that's what we're after. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who listen, speech, and follow the best of it. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله فاستغفروه فيفوز المستغفرين. سبحان الله. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعد أما بعد. In the few minutes that I have with you, my brothers and sisters, also understand that women love men who listen. That's another secret. This is Dr. Jassim al-Mutawwi, hafidhahullah. There are so many ones. Even Dr. Tariq al-Habib has his own. There's too many theories. But right now, yeah, I'm going to ask you to come forward again, brothers, please, because there's some brothers are still standing, as much as you can. So do me a favor, can everybody stand up, please? I apologize for the interruption. And line up as if you're actually praying, and that will give the brothers in the back a chance to come forward. Inshallah, we can have a bigger masjid, inshallah, one day. Or protect this one, and inshallah we'll do the best to look after you. Jazakumullah khairan, please have a seat. No, one of the secrets, understand that women look at certain things for stability. They look for security. Yeah, and so when they complain about something, the brothers, what is the instinct? You're the protector. You look for what? To protect your wife, to give her answers for her questions, to be there for her when she needs you. You need to protect the damsel. So as soon as your wife complains about something, even when she comes from work crying, right away you put the S on your chest. Yeah? You're Superman. You're coming for aid. Have no fear. I'm here. And then you start listening. As soon as she starts talking about her and she starts to cry, your heart breaks and you need to fix this thing. So what do? It says you cut her off. First mistake the brothers do is cut your wife off when she's speaking. Why? Because if you cut your wife off while she's speaking, she has to start all over again from the beginning to repeat the story, which is not very time management wise. So you have to listen to her. And that's why the secret says actually women who love men who want to listen. And that's very rare, by the way. The first thing statistics show that listening is the first sense that actually is gone from men. First thing. So when women are talking to you, your job is to just be quiet and listen. Don't come up with solutions. They're not looking for solutions. They're just looking for comfort. They're looking for you to say, here, you're right. Even if she was wrong, you can't tell her that. You cannot side with the enemies at this point. Later on, you speak in the third person. You put a helmet on, and alhamdulillah, you call 911 just in case if you're lost after that, they know where to find you. But at this point, you do not interrupt and you only listen, comfort her. Later on, you can speak in the third person to find solutions. Let her buy in the solution. Now, understanding that is extremely important to find something in the common, in the hobbies, in the language, in everything else in that matter. If this is recorded, I'm in trouble. May Allah help us, inshallah. Let's inshallah, focus on the positive. Your job, I've given you this before, so let's now look for the solutions. Understand, men and women are different, knowing exactly what the men, my dear sister, sometimes they like to be approached. Do not count on the man approaching you. I'm talking about the intimate relations. Men sometimes don't feel like it. Not just that, the pressure is on them just like it's on you. So please also keep that in mind. We already talked about the reasons for divorce. Number one, if you remember, was financial, and I told you already to start your life on a proper matter. We said if you have mehendi, nikah, then rukhsati, then bankruptcy, you already know that you're starting on a very unsolid ground, very shaky ground. You're spending too much time and the money for effort on things that does not work. So be smart. And remember, if you're looking for something, my brothers, let me give you a hint. How many of us like sports cars? Most of us do. So if you're looking your partner to be a Ferrari, your favorite car, or Lambo, Diablo, Bugatti, McLaren, you name it, I want you to think that this is a very high maintenance. It's something that it looks good, it's flashy, temporarily. Everybody wants it. The more you have, the more you worry about what you have. But if you think of a long term, you think of a SUV, a minivan, this is long term. Secrets you have to do before you do, or say I do. So now knowing that, you also have to understand when we said women are emotionally based, men are physically based, you have to work on her emotions. Yes? So again, today, you're going to buy a flower. I know. Long stem, single, rose, and you're going to write a poem. You're not going to go to the Hallmark and buy it. You're going to write it from your heart. Just tell her how you felt when you first time saw her. Remind her of the good times and tell her what she means to you. And remember her favorite chocolate. It will go a long way. After you do this, you will make dua for this person of Allah because you will have a beautiful night. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you both, gather you in goodness in this life and the hereafter, inshallah, and keep you away from the hellfire, grant you righteous children, which is the next series of parenting. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who follow the best of it. Ameen wa akhda alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa salam ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabi'in. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi jalali wajhika wa 'azimi sultanik. اللهم صل وسلم في الاولين والاخرين ولا يعودين اللهم انصر الاسلام واعز المسلمين واعلي بفضلك كلمتي الحق والدين واذل الشرك المشركين اعداءك اعداء الدين اوقع الكافرين في الكافرين واوقع الظالمين في الظالمين واخرجنا من بينهم سالمين اللهم احفظنا بالاسلام قائمين واحفظنا بالاسلام قاعدين واحفظنا بالاسلام راقدين ولا تشمت بنا الاعداء ولا الحاسدين اللهم احفظنا من بين ايدينا ومن خلفنا وعن ايماننا وعن شمائلنا ومن فوقنا ونعوذ بعظمتك ان نغتال من تحتنا اللهم اشفنا واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين وعافنا وعافي مبتلانا ومبتلى المسلمين وارحمنا وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين واخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام على اله وصحبه والتابعين اقول ما تسمعون فما كان في من صواب فمن الرحمن وما كان في من خطأ من نسيان فمني ومن الشيطان والله ورسوله منه براء واعوذ بالله ان اذكركم به وانساه واقم الصلاه. Next week, right?
Yeah.
So just a quick announcement, brothers and sisters, just before you leave next Friday, inshallah. First Jum'ah will be at 12:30. Second Jum'ah will be at 1:30. Fajr will be at 6 o'clock in the morning. And Dhuhr will be at 12:40 p.m. Asr will be at 3:30 p.m. Obviously, Maghrib is still at sunset. Isha is at 7 p.m. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا اعتدلوا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي